All right, I will get started. Good afternoon and welcome, everyone. My name is Ellie Garrity, and I'm the Director of Alumni Career Programs for the University of Maryland Alumni Association. We're so excited that you're able to join us for today's webinar, Mastering the Art of Celebrating Yourself with Amy Yip. This webinar is presented in partnership with the Coaches Corner program, the UMD Alumni Association's newest professional development resource, accessible to all Terps. We have a lot of information to cover today, but we will take questions throughout the webinar. Feel free to submit any questions using the chat function on your Zoom panel. We'll also be recording the webinar, so by participating, you acknowledge and consent to your image, likeness, or voice being recorded. Speaking of recording, a recording and slides from today's webinar will be available and shared with you following today's session. And you can also access our closed captioning feature by clicking the CC button on the bottom of your Zoom panel. Okay, Amy Yip is a life transformation and mental fitness coach who works with high achieving, ambitious people going through transitions to tap into their potential and bridge the gap between where they are now and where they want to be, even if that destination isn't totally clear yet. She's coached a range of clients from executives to new leaders and individual contributors. And she's ICF PCC certified. She's a certified Hudson Institute coach and a pioneer mental fitness coach, and is certified through Positive Intelligence. So, Amy, I will hand it over to you. It's great to see you again, and we can get things started.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Ellie. And so wonderful to see everyone. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for being here for this Mastering the Art of Celebrating Yourself workshop. Yesterday was World Kindness Day, if you didn't know about that. So what a wonderful day to have this workshop on being kind to yourself. So as Ellie mentioned, my name is Amy Yip. I'm a life transformation and mental fitness coach. And I work a lot with the Asian American Pacific Islander women to let go of shoulds, quiet their inner critics, and to build their own confidence. And a big part of building confidence is the ability to celebrate yourself. So I'm really excited to be here with you today. And I am going to start sharing my screen. Okay. Can everybody see that? Yes, awesome. So what we will cover today is taking you through celebrating yourself. So we'll go through what is celebration all about? Why does it even matter? And then we are going to be doing practices. So how can you actually celebrate yourself each and every day? This workshop is meant to be interactive. So what does that look like? Throughout the presentation, I will be asking you questions, asking for your participation, and there will be exercises. At one point, I will ask that if you are able to stand, to please stand, and we'll be doing some exercises together. If you can't stand, you can also do it sitting. And also, if you have a pen and paper, please have that handy. If you don't, please go grab one because at one point you will need that for an exercise that we are going to do, okay? So before we get started, I want to introduce myself a little so that you get to know me. And what you see here is a photo of me. And if you have the chance to get to know me, what you will learn is that I am super playful. I'm very silly. I love to laugh, and I am a kid at heart. But at one point in my life, I lost that silliness and playfulness. So this is me when I was younger, that little girl with the bowl cut in red, that would be me. And I was born into a very traditional Chinese immigrant household. I was the youngest of 3 girls. And we were taught to be hardworking, to be driven, to succeed, and that safety and security meant achieving things and working hard. We were taught that verbally, but more importantly, I saw my immigrant parents always working hard. They were always working for that financial security and freedom. They never knew how to take a break. So I grew up finding it pretty hard to celebrate. And actually, I used to think that celebrating was a complete waste of time. So I never took the time to acknowledge my own successes. I didn't want to be complacent, right? I thought celebrating is going to take me away from focusing on my goals. And so for much of my life, I was literally and figuratively climbing mountains. And I believed that getting to the top of the mountain would make me better, more successful, more happier. But what actually happened? Was I at the top celebrating when I got there? Not really. If I was about to get to the top of a mountain, I was barely there. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to get to that top of the mountain. I was already looking for the next mountain to climb. And I sucked at celebrating myself, sucked at celebrating my wins, to the point that it had an impact on my health and well-being. This is a photo of me in the hospital. I had an IV in my arm, and I took this photo with my work phone in one hand. And I took it and I sent it to my coworkers and I said, hey, I'm going to miss this meeting because I got this stuff stuck in my arm. Seems like, to me now, I'm like, what the heck was I thinking? But at the time, I was just so focused on achieving and doing. And no matter how much I achieved, I was never truly happy. And it was really taking a toll on my life. And let's just say that this was the first time I got hospitalized, but it wasn't the last. It took a long journey for me to figure out that this was not okay for my well-being. And so it was a long journey, a lot of self-introspection. And I learned exactly what Oprah said here. The more you praise and celebrate your life, the more there is in life to celebrate. And that's why I'm so excited to be sharing this workshop with you. So now that you know a little about me, I would love to get a sense of who is here. Starting with your name. What did you do today that was amazing, that you're proud of? And how did you celebrate that? Do I have anybody that would love to just share your name? What did you do today that was amazing? And how did you celebrate that? Who would like to, and just take yourself off mute?
I'll share.
Laura, yeah.
My name is Laura Ellsworth, and I swam a mile this morning, so I'm proud of that. I don't know how I celebrated it. I just came to work afterwards. So.
Well, you're getting a lot. There are some jaw drops. I don't know if you saw that. They're like, wow, and some hand claps. Awesome. Thank you. Who else? Anybody else want to come off? What did you do that was amazing? How did you celebrate? Abhishek wrote in chat, I dropped my wife for first day of her work. Need to plan some celebration. Did you want to come off mute to say it out loud to everybody?
Yeah, hi everyone. This is Abhishek. I live in Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia. Actually, me and my wife, we were working together to get her job after 8 years of long break, and today was her first day at work, even though she was expecting the different kind of job, but she ended up of like different job. But yeah, because something to start with, it's okay for her. And after 8 years of break, so yeah, I'm gonna plan some celebration today for that thing. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks.
Do I have one more person who wants to share? What are they celebrating?
I'll share.
Okay, Teresa.
So I live in the Metro Atlanta area myself, but I'm in Maryland caregiving, and I've been going and going. But today I said I'm going to stop and take a 30-minute power nap. And awesome. That is rare for me. So I took my power nap. I am refreshed and I am ready to go. So that was something I did for me, and I feel good about it.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
So Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for the 3 individuals who shared. And for those who didn't get a chance to share, as you were thinking about, well, what did I do today that was amazing? And how did you celebrate that? Just keep that in mind and keep in mind what other people have shared. Because, consider these things. What do you do when a partner or someone else gets a promotion? What do you do when your little kiddo takes their first step? What do you do when a niece or nephew scores their first point in their first soccer match? What do you do when your pet learns a new trick? And then what do you do when you do something amazing? What do you do when you receive an honor or an award, when you complete a project, when you meet a health goal, when you score a point in a league game, or when you learn a new skill? If you're like most people, you don't celebrate yourself enough for all or any of those things, right? Like if you're like most people, then you're incredible at celebrating others' achievements, regardless of how big or small they are. We're phenomenal at being other people's cheerleaders, but we neglect to do the same for ourselves. And I hear all sorts of reasons from people about why they don't celebrate themselves. Celebrating feels too self-congratulatory, too self-serving. Well, it wasn't that big of a deal anyways. It was just this small thing. I don't need to celebrate that. Or if I celebrate now, I'll get complacent. It'll hold me back from achieving even more. And so I'm curious, what stops you from celebrating more? What stops you from celebrating more? And you can ponder that. You can put that into chat. You could come off mute if you want to share. What stops you? What do you tell yourself? What do you tell yourself about celebrating? For some, it might be, I don't deserve to celebrate because I haven't even achieved that ultimate goal. My goal is all the way over there. But then what happens? We keep moving the goalposts that we actually never celebrate. And I see some head nods. And we have so many excuses for not celebrating ourselves. And I often do get this question of, well, what's the harm in not celebrating anyways? What's the harm in not celebrating anyways? You might be thinking, well, I don't see why it's so bad. I've never celebrated myself before. I'm just fine, right? It just seems unnecessary. I've already achieved a lot in my life and I never celebrated. And the thing is, in reality, it actually has the opposite effect. So let's go back to this example of baby walking. So imagine that there's a baby walking, maybe your own, maybe it's a friend's baby, maybe someone in your family, they're a little kiddo, and they're learning to stand and walk. Now imagine that baby puts one foot up, the other, and they kind of wobble and then they fall back on their butt. Would you really say, why are you so incompetent? Come on, you're already 10 months and you can't even stand on your own. I'm ashamed of you. Just stay down. Don't bother trying anymore, right? Imagine if you said that. Do you think the baby would keep getting up and trying? What would it do to the baby's confidence? And what is it really like? The baby struggles to get up, gets one leg, gets the other, wobbles, falls, and then you run over and you say, oh my gosh, did you see that precious little Logan stood for just a second? You did amazing, right? Good for you. We celebrate their every attempt. We encourage them at every step, regardless of the outcome. And in turn, it helps them to build their confidence to keep going. And we need to do that for ourselves also. And so the question of, what's the harm in not celebrating? Yes, you might never have celebrated yourself and you've achieved a lot, but imagine if you did celebrate. Where could you be? You might be further along and possibly happier along that journey of achievement. So just something to consider. So what is celebration anyways? Any guesses? Any guesses? What do you think celebrating is anyways? And you can come off mute.
Recognition.
Recognition. Thank you, Lynette. Recognition. What else? What do you think celebrating is?
Just acknowledgement of an accomplishment.
Acknowledging accomplishment, recognition. Thank you, Candace. So,
Hey, Amy,
uh-huh.
hi, this is Sumit.
Hi.
I think, thank you for scheduling this. I think for celebration, I think, as you rightly mentioned, we are very quick to celebrate other success.
Mhm.
First is for our own selves, perhaps recognizing that this is not a normal thing. I have achieved something. I've had a great day. And not just let those moments pass by without even recognizing that.
Yeah.
Forms of recognition can be, somebody might take a beer or, go out with a friend for lunch, or even, pat yourself. In yoga postures, patting your own self, they call it as one of the positive vibes that you radiate with your own self.
Mhm. Thank you. Yeah. So it's about recognizing yourself, recognizing your own accomplishments. And Ellie wrote in the chat, being present and slowing down. So, what is celebrating yourself? Celebration is about recognizing that you are where you are because you've worked hard. And oftentimes we think celebration is just about bragging, proving that you're better than others, giving yourself an excuse to do nothing. That is not what it's about. It is about giving yourself credit because you deserve it. And in fact, recognizing yourself can be as public as you want. It can also be as private as you like, right? It does not mean I have to tell everyone about it. It could just be an act of self-love and self-acknowledgement. So it's also a tool to help you be grateful for your life. And when you celebrate more, you remember more of all the good things in your life and why you're so awesome. Okay. And so why does celebration matter? Celebration matters for a few key reasons. It keeps you motivated. It's easy to identify where we feel like we're falling short, right? We're all great at that. We're constantly dwelling on all of our shortcomings and how far we have left to go. And if we're constantly focused on that, it's actually what holds us back. And so when you celebrate yourself, you're basically giving yourself attention to those little victories. You're essentially reminding yourself, I'm on the right path. And I like to think of it almost as a project plan, right? Think of celebrating as all those little milestones. It's reminding you, oh yeah, I've achieved that little milestone along the way. And it's recognizing that you are making progress. So it actually keeps you motivated. Celebrating also builds your confidence, right? Remember that baby example? It keeps you confident to keep going, to keep trying. And you might be thinking, I think I saw someone in the chat write about coming off as arrogant, and so you might be thinking, well, I don't want to come off as arrogant. And oftentimes confidence is confused with arrogance. They are not the same thing. Confidence is knowing and believing in what you do well and what you don't do well. It's about being able to step into that truth, whereas arrogance is a way of covering up your shortcomings. So it's very, very different. So celebrating yourself builds your confidence, keeps you motivated, and it gives you more meaning and joy. We're often so busy doing and achieving that we miss out on life. We're so focused on that final goal, the destination, that we don't enjoy the journey to get there. During my travels, I was in Albania, and I met this man, and he said to my husband and I, You Westerners, I don't understand. You're always in a rush, 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 rush to get to the end. And what is there at the end? It's just death. Like, why are you rushing there? At least in Albania, we know how to enjoy every single moment. And so that has stuck with me of, well, how can we enjoy every single moment? How can we celebrate? And celebration gives you that moment to just pause, to breathe, to be. And when you celebrate and savor that moment, it nurtures a greater sense of meaning. So people who celebrate, there are lots of studies on this if you feel like digging into the research, but people who celebrate have improved physical health, are better at coping, they have better coping strategies, they're more optimistic, take better care of themselves, tend to be less stressed. And so why wouldn't you celebrate, right? In this life, if you don't celebrate yourself, nobody will. Nobody will. And Lynette, yes, Jamaicans say the same thing. A lot of people in a lot of parts of the world that, they say the same thing about why are the Westerners in such a rush? So yes. And that's why celebrating matters for all of these reasons. And so if I have persuaded you that celebrating yourself matters, you're probably thinking, okay, that's great, but how do I even do this? It takes too much time, it costs too much money, and we can certainly celebrate ourselves in ways with like fancy dinners and trips and things, but there are also other ways. And that's what we're going to do today, is learn ways to celebrate yourself that does not take a lot of time and it does not cost you a thing. All right. And I break it down into 3 easy steps. And those 3 easy steps are, the first is to pause, the second is reflect, and the third, physical action. And so let's start with that first one, which is pausing. We're often rushing, as the story I told you about from the Albanian man, right? And so the first step is just to pause. Wherever you are, just pause. And one of my favorite quotes is, nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished. Nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished. And so the next time you find yourself running from mountain to mountain, thing to thing, remember to just pause. And in fact, it's beneficial to just take intentional pauses throughout the day. And there are lots of ways to do it. You can take moments to just celebrate, to pause. So, there are alarms that you could set that automate. And when the alarm goes off, you pause. I had a client who decided every time I go to the bathroom, I'm going to pause. So you can figure out ways like what are those moments that I'm going to pause to celebrate. All right. And so step 1 is to pause. Step 2 is reflecting on what you want to celebrate. Reflecting on what you want to celebrate. So the question to ask yourself here is, what is worth celebrating? What is worth celebrating? And for most of us, oftentimes we'll think of something and we'll be like, oh yeah, that thing. And then what happens? Then that other voice says, oh, but that wasn't a big deal, or other people do it better, right? So, it's too early to celebrate. And this is your inner critic, it's your saboteur speaking, it's trying to keep you small. And so I often encourage people to ask that question of, well, how might I celebrate, even if it seems silly or small? What is worthy of me celebrating? For example, one of the things that I used to celebrate was letting myself take a nap. I think maybe it was Teresa or somebody earlier had said she took a nap today. And so that's what I used to celebrate. And why did I celebrate it? It was because it was hard for me to do. Anytime that I let myself rest, I felt guilty. I was like, well, I have so much left to do. And why am I I'm so lazy, right? And even if I did take a nap or let myself rest, I'd get on my own case. And so I started I started trying to celebrate myself when I let myself rest. And actually one time I got sick and I let myself rest. I let myself take a nap. And when I woke up, I said, good job. I let myself rest. And for some people, it might sound silly. Like, why would you celebrate taking a nap? But it was hard for me. And so it's about celebrating even the things that sound silly, but are hard for you. Those are worthy of celebrating. So really take that time to reflect on what can I celebrate, even if it seems silly or small. And as a matter of fact, you can also consider, what failures can I celebrate? We often think failures are not worthy of celebrating, but they come with gifts. And perhaps you can reflect on, well, what did I learn? How did I grow? What did I enjoy? And learning about yourself is also something to celebrate because that's growth. And so really taking that moment here on reflecting, like, what can I celebrate? And the third step is a physical action, okay? And in order to explore this, let's talk about emotions and physicality. So raise your hand. Who here believes that your emotions impact your physicality? You can use the emojis. You could type yes in the chat. You could physically raise your hand. I see a bunch of hands. Yes, yeses in the chat, definitely. Okay, so who here believes that your physicality impacts your emotions? Raise your hand. Some hands, some yeses. Okay, so most people recognize their emotions impact their physicality, but they don't think the opposite is true. They don't think that your physicality impacts your emotions. So I want to do a little demonstration, exercise, practice. If you are able to stand, I invite you to stand. If you can't stand, you can do this seated too. All right. So I'm going to stand. So I want you to just stand. If you're seated, that's all right too. And I want you to use your body and movements and voice and posture and put yourself in a position where you feel hopeful. You can see it working out, but you can also see it not. You're in conflict. Maybe it'll work out. I'm not sure. I'm hoping it will. And just notice, how are you holding your body? What are you saying? Where's your head? How's your body moving? Where are your hands? Your neck? You feel hopeful. Really hoping that thing will work out, but you're unsure. And just take notice of what's coming up for you. Okay. And whether you're sitting or standing, just shake that off. And now you're going to go into worry. You can only see it not working out. So you're worried. Notice where your head is. How's your body moving? What are you saying? Where are your feet? How's your posture? Where are your eyes? You're worried. Things are not going to work out. How's your breath? Where's your energy sitting? And just notice what's coming up for you. Okay. And just shake that off. And the last one we're going to try on is you are confident. You're confident, you know it'll work out. So just take notice, how are you holding your body? What are you saying to yourself? Where's your head? Where's your energy sitting? How's your body moving? What's your posture? What are you saying to yourself? Just notice how this feels. All right, you can shake that off. And you can return back. If you were standing, return back to your seats. And I'd love to hear from a couple of people, what did you notice? What did you notice from that exercise? And you can just take yourself off mute. What did you notice?
Hello, my name is Lauren. Thank you so much, Amy. Can you hear me? Awesome. It reminded me of mindfulness. I'm a licensed therapist myself, so I'm very much familiar with like being in tune to my body, as I'll tell my clients to do the same. And I felt the tension, the second part where you said, you know, when you're worried, and I noticed that my shoulders were tensed, I was looking down more, but then when you said confidence, you know, my head was up, the tension that was in my body all of a sudden just left my body. It was amazing. So that's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. And feel free, you know, to type into chat what you're noticing. But, you know, for everybody, you can actually change your emotional state through your physical state. There's a lot of research on this. Changing how you hold your body impacts your body chemistry. And so just when, you know, you're being told to hold your physicality in hopefulness or worry or confidence, you can actually shift that. And the reason we're doing that is because that step 3 on celebrating yourself, it was a physical action. And there's a reason we're doing a physical action, because the way that most people, when they celebrate themselves or they recognize that, oh yeah, you know, I did something great. Sure. Yeah, I did that. And it's in the head, and then you move on. And how many have done that? Like just, oh yeah, I did something great. And then you just move on, right? Lots of hands. And how did that small little comment impact you? Probably minimally, right? You're like, oh yeah, okay. And then you just continue on. And so the way that we really want to celebrate ourselves is with something physical, a physical celebration. And you might be thinking, okay, yeah, hot baths or having a nice dinner, or, you know, whatever that is. And yes, you can do those things, but there are other ways. And so we're going to practice some other ways, right? So I invite you, if you can, put up your favorite arm. Put up your favorite arm.
Oh, right.
Or whichever arm you want, you could put it all the way up. And good job. You did great. That's awesome. There's some laughing. Call that the patting yourself on the back, okay? Or the self back pat, whatever you want to call it. So that's one way you could do it. Another way that you can celebrate yourself, I want you to take either the same arm or the other arm, whichever you want, you could put it up again. I want to see some arms up. Some arms up. I see you. Okay. And on the count of 3, go high five. High five. Awesome. You did amazing. You're a rock star. And so that is the high five. I actually like to do that while standing up. And I like to jump. So I have one arm up and I'm like, yeah, Amy, good job. So that's what I was doing when I took a nap, and I said, oh yeah, good job, Amy. Let yourself take a nap. So that's your second way. Third way, put both arms up this time. And just hug yourself. Oh, you did great. You're amazing. All right. And now the last way I'm going to teach you is imagine a curtain in front of you, just slowly opening up. And as that curtain is opening up, I want both of your arms up. And as the curtain is opening up, you just go, yes, I am here. Thank you. I did amazing today. I took my nap. I swam a mile. I'm here. Bow, bow. And you can actually do this going into the grocery store. You know how they have those sliding doors. And as you go into your local Trader Joe's or whatever store you shop at, as you enter, you can say, yes, Trader Joe's, Safeway, Giant, I am here to grace you with my presence. Thank you. Thank you. Right. And so there is a reason that we're doing these physical actions. So I heard a bunch of laughter. Gerard said in the chat, this made me smile, right? So it makes you smile. It's a physical act. It shifts your mood. So as you're doing these physical actions, chemical makeup in your body is shifting. That's why we did that exercise before this. It is nearly impossible to be like jumping and high-fiving and saying, you did amazing. And for that inner voice to say, but it wasn't a big deal. Why are you celebrating? Right. And that's why it's doing these physical actions. And it only takes a few seconds and it is free. This is how we celebrate other people. And so one thing I encourage you to consider is, well, how do I tend to celebrate other people? And you can do that for yourself, right? Do I give them high fives? Do I hug them? One of my clients, he plays a lot of sports, and he said to me, I on the field, he played soccer. He's like, all of us, we just slap each other on the butt. So that's how he started celebrating himself. He was just like, good job. And he just like hit his butt every time he did amazing. So if you want to come up with your own, I encourage you, find the thing that'll make you laugh, that'll make you smile. All right. And so we are going to put this all together, and I want everyone to practice this together, the 3 steps. Okay. So let's just pretend we're in our day, we're just walking, we're just wandering, going about our normal day-to-day. And you just pause. First step is easy, pause. And now step 2, reflect. What did you do so far today that was amazing? What did you do today that you want to celebrate, that you're proud of? And if you think you don't have anything to celebrate, keep thinking. There are lots of things, right? There's a lot to celebrate. Lots of first anniversaries, transitions, the tiniest things. And the fact that you're here, for example, that's something to celebrate. So reflect, what can you celebrate? And then when I say step 3, physical action, I want you to take your favorite one, whether it's that high five or the hug, whichever one, or the curtain opening, and do that. All right, so just reflect. And now step 3, celebrate. Good job. Good job on being here. Good job on getting outside for that walk. Good job on doing this swimming. Oh, I love it, Candace. So those are the 3 things. And I'm curious to hear, like, how does it feel to celebrate? What are you noticing?
Better state of mind.
Better state of mind. Thank you. A total mood boost, peace. Yeah. So those are the 3 steps to celebrate, right? And this next piece is where you will need a pen and paper. So if you don't have a pen and paper, please grab one, right? And what we are going to do now is an exercise, and it is a love letter. So you're going to be writing a love letter to yourself. And the way this is going to work is, this is the template. And I'm going to set a timer for 3 minutes. And the template is, dear, enter your name. I am your confidence, the part of you that has and will always innately be here within you and will never give up. I'm telling you that you freaking rock because. And during those 3 minutes, you're just going to write. Write as if your life depended on it. Do not put the pen down. And even if you can't think of anything, just write blah, 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 blah. It could be, I moved across the country. It could be, you know, I'm here today, whatever that is. All right. And so you are going to write for 3 minutes. When I say put your pen down, you're going to put your pen down. Any questions? All right. So on your mark, get set, go. Thirty seconds. Three, two, one. All right, so you can come back, return back. You could put your pens down. So what we are going to be doing now is going into breakout groups, and we are going to do breakouts in groups of 2 to 3, and person with the longest hair will go first. You will read your love letter to the other 2 people. And I often have a lot. I'm seeing all these people dropping off now because yes, it can be scary, but I promise you it is so rewarding to stay and do it. So you're going to go in the breakout groups. You'll read your letter to the other 2 people. The other 2 people will not say, oh yeah, I do that too. You will just listen and reflect back what you've heard on why that person is so amazing. As the receiver, you just receive it, and you don't need to respond back with anything like, oh, but it wasn't a big deal or anything like that. Okay. Your job is to just receive. And then you rotate to the next longest hair who will read and the other 2 will listen. So about 3 minutes per person, and then we will come back to here. All right. Any questions before we jump into the small groups? All right. Ellie, go for it.
Amazing. We got everybody in. Ooh. Let me just move someone.
Actually, it was great experience. And the thing is, in our group, we were 3 people,
Mhm.
and few of the things were common among us.
Mhm.
Like whatever we were saying, why you feel that way, why you feel confident, right, to
Mhm.
achieve anything. So, I mean, many of there were like common theme in the writing, I can say.
Awesome. Thank you. Anyone else? How was it? And you can share, how was it to read it? How was it to hear somebody else's? Both. Lauren?
I thank you so much, Amy. I
Mhm.
felt as if our group was amazing. We both shared, all of us shared, and at the very end, we then poured into each other individually. And then we found out that each one of us had something to share with each other. And then we pivoted back to the information that you gave us at the very beginning about celebration and pausing. So it was amazing. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Awesome. Thank you. Anyone else? And I see there's something in the chat too. Amazing. Awesome. This exercise can be done with coworkers. It could be done as a family. I've had family people take this away and go home and do it with their kids, with their parents, with their siblings, right? You could do it in so many different ways, and it teaches everybody else like how you can celebrate and how you can do this exercise. You could spend longer. You can even post this letter in front of you so that on days when you're like, geez, this day sucks, just look at that and be like, oh, I'm a rock star. So lots of different ways that you can use this exercise. I hope this is not the last time that you do this and that you share it with those that you love. And, I want to leave you with Oprah's quote again: the more you praise and celebrate your life, the more there is in life to celebrate. And so keep remembering, what can I start celebrating today? What can I celebrate each and every day? All right. I am running 2 programs that I would love to share with you. And my invitation is, you can keep celebrating, let other people know, but I'm running an 8-week mental fitness group program specifically for Asian American Pacific Islander women. And so it starts January 23rd. And so if you know any amazing AAPI women who could use this, definitely have them reach out to me. And in July, I'm running a return to play camp in Dripping Springs, Texas. It's right outside of Austin. It's a weekend and it's for women of color. And I call it a playcation. We don't know how to play enough. And so it's doing a lot of the inner work and the growth and development, but through play. And so I'm very excited. And as you can tell today, I'm quite playful, and the exercises that we did are a little silly because laughter is so very much needed. And so that is it. And feel free to connect with me. I'm on LinkedIn. My website is amyyipcoaching.com. And it is always a pleasure to be back with the Alumni Association. So thank you, everyone. And thank you, Ellie.
Yeah, thank you so much. If you all could join me in just giving Amy a virtual round of applause. I feel like we could all, I'll just
I'll just give myself a good job, Amy.
Make sure you give yourself a pat on the back, Amy. We really appreciate this today, and hopefully everyone feels like this is such a great start to the week. Just, taking a moment to celebrate ourselves. So thanks again, Amy. I will send out the recording of this video for anyone who wants to reference back to anything Amy chatted about. And I'll also put Amy's information in the email as well. So if you want to connect with her further or take one of her programs, you are welcome to. So huge thank you, Amy. And
thank you.
We will see you at the next Coaches Corner webinar. So go Terps, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.
Bye to everyone. Bye. Have a great day.